I'm Steve Good and welcome to my scroll saw workshop. We're going to talk about inlays tonight using the scroll saw, and we're going to do what I think is the most basic inlay that you can do with the scroll saw. And basically we're going to do what I call a bevel inlay. In other words, we're going to take two pieces of wood of dissimilar color and we're going to stack them together, and we're going to cut at a slight bevel so that when the pieces come out, the lighter color wood will recess into the darker colored wood and give us an inlay. So with that, I'm going to show you the materials we're going to use tonight and we'll get started. In tonight's inlay project, we're going to build a small round bowl or a box, and we're going to inlay the top of the box with the shape of a dolphin. And what we're going to need to do this tonight are a couple pieces of darker colored wood. In this case I'm using walnut. And these are milled to be 1 inch thick, and these will be for the outside and inside walls of the box. We're going to use a couple of pieces of the same color wood, in this case walnut, that are milled to 1/4 inch thick, and we're going to have one lighter piece of wood, in this case maple, that we're going to use as the inlay for the pattern. And also you'll need the pattern off the website at www.scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com. One more thing we're going to use tonight is I've got a couple other pieces of one piece of walnut and maple that I'm going to use as scrap, and we're going to use these to test cut the bevel we're going to set the scroll saw so that the inlay recesses into the wood at the correct angle. So you'll need a little bit of extra scrap. Also, you're going to need your spray adhesive for applying the pattern to the wood, and as always we're going to use the box tape to cover the pattern. Okay, with that I'm going to go ahead and apply the pattern to the wood, and then I'll meet you over at the drill press. I've gone ahead and applied the pattern to all of our pieces, and with the spray adhesive I've covered everything in box tape, front and back, and on the piece that we're going to inlay I have sandwiched the lighter colored maple and the darker colored walnut together and completely wrapped it around with the clear packing tape, and this has the pattern that we're going to use for the inlay on the top. So you'll want to go ahead and let me zoom in on this so you get a good look at this to see what I'm doing. Again, I've got the pattern on the lighter colored wood, I've got the darker colored wood on the back, and I've got it completely wrapped in box tape to hold it together as one piece, and we're going to cut this out as one piece. Okay, now the 1 inch thick pieces are going to be the the inside and the outside of the box walls, so go ahead and get those covered too, because those are going to take quite a bit of box tape to keep the blade lubricated real well. We want to go ahead and drill an entry hole on the inside and the outside of each one of the wall units. And now I've got the bottom, it's going to be the bottom of the box. I'm going to go ahead and drill an entry hole on the outside of the bottom. Okay, I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Now what I'm going to do with the inlay piece, I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole on the outside of the exterior of the top of the box, and then I'm going to find a good starting point for the inlay, and I'm going to drill a hole so we can cut out the inlay pattern too. Now this hole will show up in the final piece, and I'll show you how to use some sawdust and a little glue to try to hide that hole. But drill an entry hole on the outside of the top, and then one entry hole right on the line of the inlay, just slightly to the outside of it. Okay, we've got all of our entry holes drilled, and now we'll go over to the scroll saw, and I'll show you how to make your test cuts. Over here at the scroll saw now, and I've got my test piece set up here, and you can see I've been drawing a lot of, scrolling a lot of small holes in there. And what I've done is I've taken a 1/4 inch piece of the walnut and the maple, and I've sandwiched them together with box tape. And what I'm going to do is adjust the angle of the table until I get a good fit of the inlay into the wood. So right now I've got the table adjusted to about 2.5 degrees to the right. I'm going to put the inlay material or the lighter color wood on top, and we'll make another test cut and see if I can get close. So go ahead and tension up your blade, and then we'll just make a small circular cut and see how our fit is. Okay, there's our cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and release the blade, and as I pull this up, you'll see that the maple is going to fall down, and it's going to fall down into the walnut. The walnut piece is going to fall out the bottom, and that's fine, that's what we want. And now what we want is to take the lighter color inlay piece and push it down, and see when we turn it over if we get a nice tight fit on the top, and we want the surfaces to line up when they're pretty tight. And in this case, at about 2.5 degrees, I'm just about exactly where I want to be, so I'm going to leave it at that. Now you can see I made several test cuts, and I don't know if you can see this, but on this one, obviously the angle was too shallow, and so the piece came through very easily. I had one here where the angle was too deep, so the piece didn't come all the way through. And now at somewhere around 2.5 degrees, I've got a good tight fit, and that's where I want to cut the inlay out. At the top of my round box over here now that has the inlay of the dolphin on top, I've got my sandwich pieces with the walnut on the bottom and the maple on top, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the inlay first. So I've made a small starter hole right here at the end of the tail, and I'm going to go ahead and begin that cut, and then hopefully we'll have a nice fit when we get done. Got the saw speed turned down just a little bit, but I want to try to keep this fairly accurate. Okay, just about finished with the inlay. I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut just to the inside of that entry hole because we're going to fill it in later. So there, I've cut my inlay out. I'm going to go ahead and release the blade, and hopefully now, as we pull the walnut out the bottom, our dolphin will fit in the inlay just like that. Now once we glue that in, get it nice and tight in there, we can go back, and if it protrudes just a little bit, that's fine because you're going to sand it off smooth anyway. So that's what we want, something just about like that. And in this case, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the inlay, then I'll come back and set the table back to square, because now all the rest of the pieces that we cut now will be square. So make sure you get your blade back to 90 degrees at this point, and that's why we cut the inlay first, is we had our test cut set up and we wanted to get the inlay cut and out of the way so we can square the table back up. So with that, I'll turn the camera off just for a minute, square the table back up, and I'll be right back.